something on the spot. Like suddenly the plans that you had have totally changed. You get a class of 50 people, do something with them. And you have to come up with something, you have to work with all the other volunteers to try to figure it out. And it's just the nature of the program. Things are changing all the time, and you have to be flexible and adaptable. So you develop a lot of skills that way. You also develop teaching and organizational skills, running your own classes, or running a class with a fellow teacher. It's a very unique cultural experience also. You'll learn a lot about Tibetan culture from the students, and it's very unique and very interesting. It's also very rewarding for you. As Uni was talking about before, with networking and friendships, we all stay in contact with people that we met, fellow volunteers as well as students. So it's great for that as well. And sort of an ancillary benefit, if you're learning Chinese, you'll be using your Chinese every day. So we don't want that to be your main motive for going to see China or to develop your Chinese skills, but it is sort of a benefit that comes along with it.
I think this might be a good thing to share.
Yeah, just a cool thing to think about is that if you have any weird talent or interest, personally I'm very into hip hop dance, so I approached the program and said I would really like to teach a dance elective, and I don't do ballet, I do hip hop dance. So when you think of China and Tibet, it's not really the first thing that comes to mind, but they worked with me, and I had an elective, movement elective, and they learned hip hop dance, and I mean, as you saw in the video, they got pretty good. And so it's kind of that's the attitude. If you're really passionate about something and it's not that ridiculous, then they'll let you do it. And as long as you want to teach and you're excited about it, they'll pick it up. I mean, if they can pick up hip hop dance, kids have never heard a hip hop song in their entire life. If you have any sort of interest, they're just so willing to learn. And back to things changing, I remember we came back from a field trip and we didn't know we were going to have an elective, so Uni and I had no lesson plans, no choreography. So we decided to do on the spot was to combine a lyrics day. So we took the song Apologize, by To the Woodland, right? And we broke down the lyrics, and I'd say it in Chinese and then in English, and to teach them the words. And then we'd make up kind of a movement together. So we came up choreographing the dance that we saw at the end together with the students. So the music class did it too, Uni did it too. Job you. But so it was just we came up with it on the spot, and I was telling a dramatic story about your boyfriend just dumped you and he wants to apologize, and they're giggling and having a good time. They learn random English words, but stuff like that happens all the time where you just, when else is that ever going to happen in your life? So.
Right, so the timeline for the application process. The applications are due in about 2.5 weeks. Saturday, March 5th, and you'll submit those to us through email. You can download the application on our website, operationdeep.org. Then we'll invite, just to give you guys a better idea, we typically get between 25 and 30 applications. And then we invite about a dozen to 15 people back for interviews. So you do want your application to be strong. We do use it to choose who gets interviewed. So we'll have interviews during the week of March 14th, that's the week before spring break. We'll try to put them early in the week for anyone who's leaving early for spring break. We'll try to accommodate that as much as possible. And then the week after, we'll notify you of our decisions. So the application, some of you may have downloaded it online already. It includes sections where you can talk about your past experiences, anything that's relevant. We'd like to know about all of it. And 2 short essays where you talk about why you're interested in the program and what you will bring to the program. So I want to emphasize that we really do look at these applications carefully, and we use them to decide whether or not to give you an interview. So you do want it to be strong, and you do want it to be thought out. And then this year, this is something that's a little bit different. We have a required reading and a reflection essay. And I'll just warn you guys now, the reading is 47 pages long. It was written by one of the 2 founding sisters of Machi, Tashi Rabji. She's a PhD in Tibetan studies, I believe. And it's a policy paper just so you guys understand the context of the work that they do, because the work that they do is very unique. you're working on the Tibetan Plateau, and it will just help you exponentially to understand the context of that, like politically, and just to know the background of the type of work that they do. So it's very important to Machik that you understand their organization and what they're trying to accomplish. So we know that it's a lot of work to do on top of your schoolwork and all your other obligations, but it is important to Machik, and they're requiring it this year. So just to tell you guys now, so you can start preparing, and if you're planning on applying, to start the reading early, and then there's a reflection essay. And all the guidelines are, you can download everything together in a zip file online. So it'll have the required readings and instructions for the essay. All right, so I just want to give you guys a couple application tips. If you're sort of organizing this program for the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of applications come in, and I just want to share with you some tips on what makes a strong application. You should really keep your audience in mind. And your audience is mostly Machik, and it's important that you understand their organization and this program. We'll be reviewing your applications, but the executive director of Machik and also the program coordinator of the SCP will be reading it, and they do have the final say on everything. So we all discuss it as a group, but just keep it in mind that this is their program. So along with that, understand the program and its goals. I would recommend going through their website, just seeing a little bit more about what they do, and be able to talk about what interests you about what Machik does. Demonstrate what we're looking for. So this list that I talked about before, this is how we'll be judging your application. So make sure that you're emphasizing these qualities. And then also start early enough to make sure that you have time for the required reading and essay. You can get more information at our website, operationdeep.org. There's the volunteer packet there with a lot of the information that we talked about today, written out in detail. So you might just want to read through that. There might be a couple things that we missed here and there. There's also volunteer blogs from the past 2 summers. So all the volunteers took turns writing blog entries while they were there, because the hostel did have wireless internet. And so you'll get a really good picture of what it's like day to day if you take a look at those blogs. And if you take part in it this summer, you'll also be writing blog entries to share with everybody. Machik's website is machik.org, and our email, our general contact email is deepcornell@gmail.com. All those emails go to me, so if you have questions about anything, I reply to emails really quickly, so just shoot me an email anytime, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. All right, so a lot of people, before learning about this program, don't know what Operation Deep is, and then they get interested in the organization through this program. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about Operation Deep so you guys know that we do have a presence on campus. Join our listserv by checking the box in the sign-up sheet that went around. For people who came in late, make sure that you do sign up, because as we mentioned before, it's mandatory that you come to one of these info sessions in order to apply. We have meetings on Mondays, and if you sign up for the listserv, you'll get notifications about them. So Operation Deep, one of the main things that it does is the summer program, but also does a lot of other things like put on events. You guys have heard about through our casino night, kaleidoscope show, or our egg tart sales. And so there's a lot of things that you can do besides this program if you are interested in real education in China. So I want to share an event that we're having this Saturday, actually. It's called Kaleidoscope. I have some quarter cards up here if any of you are interested. It should be a really good show, and it's free admission, although we're collecting donations, and all the donations will go toward rural education in China. Operation Deep, several years ago, funded the construction of a school in Jiangxi, and we have continued to provide funding for it on a regular basis. So we're raising money for the school to provide them with better facilities. So the show will feature a lot of different performing groups on campus that you guys can see listed there. So it should be a really good show, and we're giving away 2 sweatshirts and a Kindle. So I encourage you guys to come out. It'll be a good show. It's for a really good cause. All right, so that's it. We'll be happy to take any questions from the group, or if you want to come up and talk to us individually, we'll stick around for a little bit too. So, any questions, Jen?
Yeah, I have a question about the trip. When you go there, go to the China, do you guys go individually or you like go as a group like with other volunteers?
The flights, you mean?
Yeah.
You book the flights individually,
Mhm.
but a lot of people do sort of end up on the same flight just because we recommend a travel agent for you, and since you're all arriving on the same date, you do book your flights individually because people have different schedules and leave from different places in July. So you go individually, but you might end up being on the same flight with another volunteer.
So for the kids there, is this their summer school, I guess, or what is it for them?
It's not really school so much as just a program, and the way that they're selected for it, it's a lottery.
I see.
So it's a privilege to be able to go for them, and there's a lot of demand to go. I believe it might be sponsored for them. So yeah, so they don't have
And
to
they
pay
want to
for
go.
it.
It's not like they're forced to go to summer school. Like these kids are fighting. Like they would do anything to go again.
How old are they?
Yeah.
There's a big range.
They also say that they're older. The aging is different. Because some of them would say they were like 22. I'm so short. The aging is like they say 17. I feel like they all say 17, but I guess like
younger.
13, 14.
Up to actually in their 20s.
Yeah, and then some of the guys were actually like 20, 22.
Oh.
Yeah, so it goes from typically middle school and high school age. That's the most common.
And the English classes are by level, not by age.
So if you have no experience like teaching ever in your life, do they give you like some tips to do it? Like,
Well, something that we didn't really cover is we're doing this application recruitment process a little bit earlier than usual. So after spring break, we're gonna meet with you, the final group that's going, and talk to you guys about developing lesson plans and all of that. I know it can be kind of intimidating thinking you've never taught before, but I think you'll feel that it's actually easier than it sounds, because you'll get up there and they'll be just eagerly waiting for you to teach them something. And if you're someone who is a little bit worried about that, we'll talk to you and give you more resources. I'm sure I have lesson plans from previous years, so you can take a look at that. But typically, you might say you're teaching an English class and you're going over like restaurant terms that day. You'll kind of go in with sort of a basic idea in mind, but you'll find that it's probably going to change based on how the class runs. And we will try to help you with that, and the program coordinators there will also try to help you.
Are they mostly from like southern Tibet or from different regions?
They're from a lot of different regions. So the Tibetan Plateau, the political boundaries kind of go into China. So there's I'll go back to that. Right here, the Sichuan province. So Chungba is right around here.
Okay.
The city of Chengdu is here. So you'll have students from like villages all along here, the Sichuan province, and also the Qinghai province, which is right above it, and then also some from Tibet. And it varies a little bit from year to year, but that's a general region where the students come from.
So like the whole like the summer for the program, all the student and the teacher stay in school in the
So you'll just be teaching in the school, and then you'll stay in separate hostels at night. And there will be volunteers there who aren't part of the teaching, but there to sort of organize and make sure that the students get to and from all the places they need to be. Any other questions? If you think of anything, feel free to email me. If you have an individual question, feel free to come up and talk to us. But thanks, and we hope you spark your interest.